Hello and welcome to something new I'm trying. My name is Noah. I am starting off in the cybersecurity field. I'm doing a little bit of third-party learning and I'm majoring in cybersecurity in school. But um, enough about me. Let's get straight to this box, as the title suggests. This is going to be my first attempt at documenting a CTF like this. But without further ado, let's begin. So. This CTF comes from TryHackMe. It is called a RootMe, a CTF for beginners. Can you root me? I'm gonna try to walk through the steps really simply, so even if you're really new like me, you'll be able to understand, you'll be able to follow along with ease. So first we're gonna start our machine, um, and then in Kali, I don't even know if I'm logged in. No, Kali. In Kali, you're going to connect to their VPN, which if you haven't connected to their VPN before, there's going to be a little box um, somewhere on this screen. It'll be the Open VPN room. So connect to the network and deploy the machine. So make sure you click this if you don't know how to use the Open VPN. But once you get that downloaded, you're going to sudo Open VPN. It's on my desktop and it's natural, I believe. Yeah. Enter our password. And as soon as you see initialization sequence completed, that's when you know you are good, and you can double check. I like doing things on a different desktop, so I have my VPN on my desktop 1 and then everything else on desktop 2. You can double check by typing ifconfig, and here is the ton0. So basically we just created a tunnel connection between our virtual machine and TryHackMe. And now we have our address, our IP address. So the first thing you want to do with any CTF, you want to do enumeration. And this basically means scanning for ports, just poking around at the IP address we've been given and looking for interesting things. So we're going to use Nmap, which is an enumeration tool. -SC stands for default Nmap scripts. -SV stands for the version. And we're going to paste our IP in and just let it run. That's what while it's running, you can. It's apparently that host isn't up. Let's try again. Host definitely should be up. Maybe I just wasn't fully connected to the VPN yet. That might happen if you don't give it enough time. It looks like it should be working now. So, no. Connection refused. Let me figure out this Nmap issue, and then we will be right back. We're back. I don't know what the issue is. I'm assuming it was just I wasn't connected to the VPN yet. I went too fast, so that can happen. So just give it a couple minutes, and then we do our Nmap scan and we wait. It should be good now. While Nmap is scanning, we can go to our browser here. And something that I really like doing is just going to the IP and seeing if there's a HTTP server open. And here, let's talk about our Nmap scan first. So basically, it scanned for open ports on the IP. We say we have 2 ports open. We have SSH, which stands for Secure Shell, and we have HTTP. HTTP is going to be your web server, so that means if we type the IP in here, we have a website. SSH is sort of just a secure way of logging into a server. So you don't have to worry about that right now. In future boxes, it'll be more useful, but for this box, I don't think you have to worry about it. Now, right now, there's really nothing we can do with this web page. Usually what you'd want to do is you want to poke around, see if there's any avenue of exploitation. Right now, we can't scroll. There's really nothing to do. Like there's no menu bar. We can look at the source code by pressing Control and U on my keyboard. But still, the HTML really doesn't doesn't show anything for us. So what if we're going to do something called enumerating directories. Now, a directory is basically just whenever you go to a website and type and do this slash and you do like login. This is a directory. And we're going to use a tool called Gobuster. Gobuster basically brute forces directories from a word list. So we're going to type in Gobuster dir for directory mode. I'm just going to fill this in. Our URL, which is up here at the top. We can Control C, Control Shift V. We have to type in HTTP and the second slash. And -w is going to be the location for our word list. I just chose user share word list dirb comma.txt. You can use any word list you like, but this is the one for directory busting. So I recommend this one. And then let's see what Gobuster comes up with. So as I was saying, Gobuster is going to go through this word list and try all of these directories, all the directories in this word list, and it'll give us back what it found. And this can lead to Gobuster will show a lot of the times unintentional directories, so directories we weren't supposed to see. And if we see anything we're not supposed to see, usually means that there's an exploitation avenue there. So right now, nothing too crazy. CSS, JavaScript, index.php, which is going to be the same page. But we also know it's running on PHP now. Panel, okay, that's interesting. Let's go to panel / panel. All right, and uploads. Okay, so as you guys just saw, Gobuster helped us sort of get to the next step, or a possible next step in our CTF process. So now that we're at panel, it says select a file to upload. No file size. So let's go and just like upload a random file. Let's upload dolls.jpg. Upload. Okay, and then I'm assuming if we go to this uploads directory, or subdirectory, let's duplicate this. Uploads, we'll see our file there. Dolls.jpg. Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind, whenever you can upload a file, it's very dangerous. Because it's hard to contain malicious code that's in a file. So the first thing I think of is a reverse shell. And we saw earlier from our scan that it's PHP. So this web server is running PHP, which means that we need a PHP reverse shell to try to get shell access to this web server. If you don't know what I just said, don't understand any of what I just said, don't worry about it. I'm going to show you. So if we go to reverse shell generator, this is one of my favorite websites. It basically generates a reverse shell for you. We know that we're going to be doing a PHP reverse shell. So if we go PHP pentest monkey, this is a great PHP shell. We're just going to Control A, copy it all. Let's make directory PHP shell, cd PHP shell, and I'm going to nano PHP shell.php and paste this all in here. Now, if we scroll up, see all the code here, but we're going to want to change our IP and our port. And you can do this in the generator. And so when you copy and paste, it'll already be correct. But make sure you put your IP, which is up here in Kali Linux, and the port you're going to listen on, which you'll understand later. I like to use 4444. It doesn't really matter what you use, but just do something that's easy to remember. I'm going to Control S to save and exit. So now we have our reverse shell. Let's try to upload it. So if we browse, we're going to go to home. It's in PHP shell, PHP shell, PHP, open, upload. Okay, we get an error. It says, looks like Portuguese, and it says, I'm assuming it says PHP is not permitted. So we can't upload a PHP shell. So we're going to have to do something different. We're going to have to pivot here. We can try to upload a different shell, but since we know it's PHP, I kind of want to try to force this PHP shell onto the system. So the first thing I think of is trying to bypass this, whatever's stopping us from uploading it. So I'm assuming the way it works is it's just going to look at our extension, our file extension, and deny or allow based on our file extension. So if we have that just normal.php, obviously it doesn't like that and it's not going to allow us to upload the file. So we can use the move command to rename our file, php shell.php. We're going to change it to php shell. Let's change it to php 5. Let's see if that works. See if adding a number to the end works. php shell 5. Okay. So let's browse. Here's our new file. Upload. Upload. Okay, awesome. So now our file is successfully uploaded. If we go to our uploads page, we see we have dolls and we have PHP shell at PHP 5. So now it's pretty simple from here to get our reverse shell. We need to set up a netcat listener. So do nc-lvnp and then the port that we are going to listen on, which is 4444. And now we're listening. And all we need to do is just navigate to where our reverse shell is, and we're going to get a connection. So if we go to php shell.php 5, and we press enter, moment of truth, and there we go. Fantastic. This page isn't going to load, but that doesn't matter. We have our reverse shell. So if I do ID, this tells us that we are the user data, which basically means we are acting as the web server in shell form. Excuse me. Apologies. Okay, so now we're in something called a unstable shell. So our next step is to stabilize our shell. Let's close out of that. Go closer. How do I go closer? I don't know. I'm sorry if this is small. Zoom in. Okay, so now we're a little closer. So there's a couple ways you can upgrade your shell. The first way is you typing python 3-c and then in single quotes import pty.spawn and then in double quotes and parentheses in bash. Press enter and we see we get an upgraded shell and it says user at rootme. So we are in data. You can also do, I just learned this technique. Let's see if I remember. You do Control Z to suspend the shell, then you do stty fg or echo dash echo fg and then we do export. Oops. Whoa. Export. I think I did something wrong. Whoopsies. I believe I did an oopsie. Let's Control C and try that again. I'm trying to do something fancy that we don't need to do. So let's try again. Let's go on our listener, and then if we just reload this page, go to php shell.php 5, we get our reverse shell again. Let's just stick with the python 3 command. I tried to learn something new today. I forgot it. We'll get back to that later. Import vty.spawn and in bash. Yep. There we go. Okay. So if we do ls, we see that we're in the top terminal of the directories. We are at the top of the hill, and to find our root flag, we're just going to go to where our user is. So we're going to go to www, which is in var, and then cd www. You see, here's our user flag. So we got the user flag, which is awesome. But now, how do we root this box? As it says, it wants us to root it. The box is named RootMe, after all. So how do we do that? There's a couple ways you can do. The first thing that you want to look for is doing sudo -l. But the problem is we don't have the password for www data, so we can't run this command. Sudo -l basically checks for permissions on what permissions this user has. But unfortunately, as I said, we can't check sudo -l because we don't have the password to www data. Now the next option is one you should probably do all the time, right after sudo -l, and it's called LinPEAS. Now what LinPEAS is let's see if I don't have it, but I don't have the GitHub page up. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's a GitHub page. LinPEAS stands for Linux Privilege Escalation Awesome Script, and it is awesome. It is going to be your best friend when doing privilege escalation. It basically goes through the entire victim machine and enumerates possible vulnerabilities and privilege escalation. Now, the biggest thing is getting LinPEAS onto the attacking machine. And there's a couple ways you can do this, but the easiest way that I like to do is using netcat. So similar to what we did with the reverse shell, we're going to type in nc-lvnp, and we'll choose a different port. We'll do 1234, and we are going to be expecting the file linpeas. And see, now we're listening. Now, if I do, so I have linpeas in this directory. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do nc, and I'm gonna do the port of the victim machine, the IP of the victim machine, the port we're listening on, which is 1234, and we're sending out linpeas, linpeas.sh. Now if we press enter, you see over here, connection received. I can press Control C to kill the connection. Now if we check, we have linpeas. Now all we gotta do is just run linpeas. Permission denied, this is okay. All we have to do is chmod plus x, which is executable permission, to linpeas. And now we run it again. And now it's off to the races. Now linpeas takes a couple minutes to run because it's doing a ton of checks. So many checks that it does. You can read all of them on the GitHub page, but it does a crazy amount of check. But if we scroll up to the legend while it's off to the races, we see that anything highlighted in red and yellow is most likely going to be a vector that we can escalate our privileges, a PE vector. And then any of these other colors you can see, red is something that we should look at, cyan, etc., etc. So we're going to scroll through this and look for things that are highlighted first, and then we'll look at all the red things. So right now, no highlights, lots of red, so that's good. Still no highlights. We have a highlight, okay. So this is a SUID, check easy priv exploits and write perms. So we might have write perms to this binary, the Python binary. Let's see if anything else is highlighted. If not, okay, it's the same thing, same Python binary. So it looks like that is going to be our our path to escalation. We'll let it finish out, but I don't think it's got anything else. I might just exit out because that's definitely something we need to look at. Yeah, well, oops, exit out of the entire thing. Whenever you press Control C, it's going to kill your connection with any reverse shell. So unless you're SSH'd in, so make sure you don't do that. All I have to do, if that happens, it's okay. We just, oop, what's going on? I can't click. Uh-oh, what happened? I can't click anything. Uh-oh. Okay, I can make this work. So my mouse is a little messed up, but we're listening. We're gonna go back to our uploads page. Uploads, it was called PHP shell PHP 5. Okay, we have our nice. We're gonna upgrade our terminal. This is good. This is good reps. If you accidentally close your reverse shell, you get a lot of reps with doing your reverse shell, upgrading your shell, and all of that. So you get good at typing it. cd var. Actually, we don't need to. So now we're here. Let's scroll up again. Let's look at that binary. So user bin Python. So let's cd into user bin, and Python's a binary, so it's not going to be a directory as seen here. It's not a directory. So cd into user bin. And another great tool to have in your arsenal is called, can't even move this over. That stinks. It's called GTFOBins. GTFOBins is basically, bring it up. I guess I'll just do it on my normal browser. GTFOBins. It is, you can read it, but it's all the Unix binaries that can be used to bypass local security restrictions and in misconfigured systems. So if a system's misconfigured, as this one is, as LinPEAS pointed out, we have write permissions to the Python binary. So let's look here. Here's FireWrite, but we want to look at SUID. We don't have sudo, so we're going to do the second one. And it's basically just going to give us a, it looks like we can just get a root shell based on this just one line command. So we're going to copy this, but while we're doing this, I'm going to talk to you more about GTFOBins. But like I said, it's a Unix binary, tons of valuable stuff on there. So when you type in sudo-l, as we tried to do earlier, it'll come up with a file or a directory where you have root privileges. And if it's a Unix binary, using GTFOBins will be a huge help for you to escalate privileges. Like watch here. So we have this one line of command, and we paste it in, and watch. We have the hashtag of truth. We do who am I? We're root. It's that easy. If a Unix binary is misconfigured, it's that easy to get root. So all we need to do now is cd to root ls, and we have our root flag. That was the box. Super simple stuff, but it's hard to get into the flow. So if you're a complete beginner and you really don't know what happened, just walk through it again, step by step. And the biggest advice I have is to be curious. If there's something you didn't understand, like if you didn't understand LinPEAS, like how the heck did it do all this, go to the GitHub page. It'll be in the description. And you can read up on that. It's super interesting stuff. If you don't understand the reverse shell, just do some Googling on reverse shells. It's really cool, really interesting stuff. Everything we did here was really foundational in ethical hacking, but these, like the 3 steps of enumeration, exploitation, privilege escalation. Those 3 steps, I don't know why I was doing it like that. Those 3 steps are going to be your bread and butter for for any CTF. Um, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed. This was my first ever attempt at doing something like this with documenting verbally and with visual as opposed to just um, typing it up on GitHub. So I appreciate you for watching. I hope you learned something, and hopefully I will see you in another video. Have a great day and happy hacking.